Hi everyone. Today we're going to cover something that has been creeping up recently. Social media reports such as open source intelligence trackers like Defense Geek, Chatmeral, and others are suggesting that there may be a chance that United States Air Force may relocate to RAF Fairford heavy bombers, most likely B-1 bombers, and I would like to use this to quickly show you what this could mean for the Iran operations. There's two options, I would say, or let's say roughly two options on this. Let me just quickly change the scenario here to the simple option. Um, there's a lot of speculation about routing, how they could get to Iran from Fairford. I'm going to just quickly show you the more simple routing here, and then we will actually run the more complex routing as a simulation. So this is the more simple routing here. Basically, as many of the reach flights that are going out of down here, sorry, down here near Kaiserslautern. Let me just quickly change the map. There is Ramstein, and here is the Ramstein airfield. And many of those flights are taking this similar route here that we see here. So I presume that one option could be this one. Let's go back to the more overview map. Um, Down to, here, Czechia, Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, down into Greece, and then near Crete, where the cargo planes take a turn. This would go down a bit further, refuel here with tankers from Souda Bay, and then attack some target. We just shows a target here in Shiraz, and then return on a similar leg. That is one option. The second option, almost identical in distance, would be going over French airspace if the French allow, and go through the Med down here. The implications of this mission, it's about a 13-hour mission in whole, including one refueling stop here, is that it's basically a 13-hour mission, rather straightforward for B1. Needs to be refueled once, about here would make sense, I believe, from the overall logistics, and that's it. Now, let's make a different assumption here. Let's make the assumption that for some reason, I don't believe it, but for some reason, all the countries would not play ball. And we would have a similar situation as to when the US bombed Libya in the 1990s in the operation called Eldorado Canyon. So we make this more complex approach here, and it's still far more favorable than bombing from the US. So we have the B-1s at Fairford, and we will go down the Atlantic Ocean through the Gibraltar Straits. And here it would be actually from there on similar to the missions that are coming from continental US, except a far less distance to fly. And then they would move over here to Iraq and bomb the same target. And let's just run through it to see the logistics, how they play out. Let me quickly open up the flight plan here, and then you can see approximately what we're doing. We're flying down here, doing one refueling stop here already, because I would presume they would want to have the tankers, the bombers, at a sufficient fuel state at all times from a tanker that's coming from the Azores. These tankers are right now providing a lot of fuel to things coming over the Atlantic. This would reduce the strain on them tremendously, because we just need one tanker per bomber here, and it would not be a big problem. Then they would proceed through the Straits of Gibraltar into the Mediterranean, move over here. I didn't want to do the super detailed planning around Sicily. It doesn't matter in the details. And then we have tankers from Souda Bay doing a tanking evolution on the ingress and the outbound leg. So when they come in, they will get refueled, and when they come back, they will get refueled here once. And the target will be the same. Some targets here at Shiraz International Airport. Additionally, we have a drone here that is flying over to give battle damage assessment. That's just, let's say, just nice to see, orchestration of these units. Now let's just quickly look at Shiraz in detail, even though it doesn't really matter that much. We have selected Shiraz Airport as target here. There's plenty of targets. We have designated 30 or so, and we have 24 JDAMs on board. 16 normal JDAMs, 8 bunker buster penetrator JDAMs. We can expect 2,000-pound JDAMs as the standard load on the B1s because that's the big advantage. They have no problem carrying a lot of oomph for the mission. Now, for you as an observer, the important part is this one here. We start this at 00 Zulu time, not because of any specific mission planning, but because it makes it a lot easier for us to track flights. Because then when you see this is Zulu 1 hour, it means it's just flying for 1 hour. So you have a good understanding of the overall mission duration by just looking at the Zulu hour. And for me, it also made the mission planning easier because then I didn't have to subtract and add numbers, but just could go by the raw 00 Zulu time. Now we see the bomber took off here. We can see it here. Sleigh 52. And here we see its fuel state. I have maximum time acceleration on. Let's just put it back a little bit. And we can see it's airborne for 54 minutes, which is a bit less. It has taxi time than the Zulu total mission time. We see it's currently consuming about 257 kilograms of fuel per minute due to its heavy load and heavy fuel load. And it has fuel for 5 more hours only because of the high fuel burn. We see Anchor 1, a KC-46 from Lajes, moving over here to the refueling point, and they will meet. Let's accelerate the time a bit more. And let's have the fingers crossed that everything that I set up works. And let's go back a bit with the time acceleration. We see the tanker is descending to 25,000 feet for the refueling process. It has about 83,000 pounds of fuel left, of which about 70,000 kilograms of fuel are available for offload, basically. Let's accelerate a bit more. I was a bit early with the tanker here, but doesn't matter too much. Now we can see the bone is descending to tanker altitude. It currently has 92 tons of fuel left, but it's already refueling 94 tons and whatnot, so we can see it refuel. And that's 2.5 hours in. It will be full soon at almost 140 tons. And the tanker is gone, and to save, he's now going back, and we see the mission progress further. We will see the blue circle is the range of the B1. It will probably call some bingo fuel minutes here and there because we're far out and entirely dependent for this mission to succeed to have tankers. I left the fuel warnings in just so that you can see them. And of course, in reality, we have a lot of alternative fields here that would be available, so this is not a concern at all. We see it has already burned tremendous amount of fuel again, and the tanker just took off, timed perfectly for the B1 to arrive. This time it's another Pegasus, okay? And it was waiting a bit. There comes the receiver, and they're both refueling. You can see the fuel level on the KC-46 depleting rapidly due to the refueling process, but it's right at its base, so it's not a problem. Let's see how the fuel levels of the B1 will actually be sufficient to fully refuel it, which is good. And there we go. The tanker is empty. The B1 is not full, but that's fine. And let's proceed with the B1. As we can see here, there is an MQ-9 Reaper with a Gorgon Stair module that is flying there to do battle damage assessment. And for the pilots on the B-1, as you can see, they're already 8 hours into the mission. So that's actually quite the long mission. And as I said, now it's calling bingo fuel, but it's not returning to base because, of course, it has to bomb. I will reduce the acceleration a bit here to have the only action part of the mission more visible. Let's actually switch to satellite view. You can see there is the B-1 moving in. You can actually switch to real time if you wish. And there are no Iranian units. This is, let's say, a logistics exercise, right? So you can see the first JDAMs are going out. And where is the B-1 there? We see. So it keeps dropping. 1, 4, 0, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it will be out. And here the drone is just observing everything. Very nice. And they are turning to get back to the next waypoint because they're Bingo and Winchester. And if we zoom in further, you can see that they're quite high in the air. This is real time actually, if you look at it. You can see the bombs fly over Shiraz. Also switch to the actual road map so you can see all the details here. You can show the different spots on the ground. And there we can see the bombs fall. Here you can see the speed of the bomb and the altitude. It's very cluttered, I know. I will go back to the satellite view. And there we see the different impact spots. I removed these so that they don't clutter the view so much. And we can see there the various impacts at various facilities on the airport that are being destroyed. There we go. And we can see our main purpose of the video. After 9 hours and 20 minutes, the B-1 is returning to Fairford with full acceleration, time acceleration, and it's out of Iranian airspace after 10 hours. Of course, this is just a target that I chose, Shiraz. It could be anywhere, and the times would differ. And we can see the tanker is already there, a couple of minutes early. And there we go. This time it's a Strato tanker, Exxon one. And they're just refueling on the course of the B-1. Let's actually see how much fuel. Oh, it has quite the full tanks. Just for your context, this mission works without the tanker from the Azores. It's just a bit, let's say, tight on the fuel, and I presume that the redundancy and risk-averse planning for strategic bombing missions would rather include one extra tanker rather than being tight on fuel. That's just from context. Tight of fuel in this context meant that it would return here. It would basically be over Iran with, let's say, 60% fuel, and it would return with approximately I don't one fourth, 1/5 of the tank full. So it can make it, but I'm just saying I would put it like this, so it has sufficient fuel at most of the time, and yeah. So it would work with two tankers, but I took three also to show the tanker mission planning, but also because I figured that they would probably also rather be safe than sorry. And yeah, let's go back to full-time acceleration. And you can see initially when we had the full bomb load and everything, the fuel burn of the B-1 was 275 kilograms per minute. And now you can see it's down to 168, and it doesn't need a tanker on the return leg, as you can see. It has a lot of fuel to spare. So this tanking process here on the return leg, this one, could also have been reduced. Would probably be what's happening in real life as well, that they don't need all the fuel. We just did it like this. You can see it could actually probably get to the US with the fuel it has now. But because the reduced fuel burn means it still has 8 hours of fuel, half an hour from the UK. So that's the context here. So B1s will make this extremely easy, and in comparison to flying from the US. And as we have discussed before, the mission over Germany or France would take 13 hours. This one takes approximately 18 hours of flight time. I think they will opt for the, if it's possible, to go and cross Europe, because this just makes it a bit more complicated, puts more stress on the crews and on the flight line. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. And there we see it's going to land after 18 hours and 8 minutes. Goodbye.